All right, welcome everyone. Big welcome to Betty, Nancy, Francoise, Grace. I see so many awesome people on the line. Thank you so much for joining Jonathan and myself. We're thrilled to have you with us today. We're going to give you a deep dive into 3 cutting-edge AI job search hacks. But before we do that, let me just speak to the reality, which is you may think of this AI being a totally new thing in the job searching space. But it turns out that recruiters have been using AI for 20 years. And I know because I was using an AI back in 2004 when I was a recruiter at Teach for America. And even though our AI wasn't as fancy as Chat GPT or WonsultingAI, which Jonathan's going to tell you about momentarily, it was definitely a really important part of our practice, which is in every applicant tracking system I ever used, that online tool to capture resumes and candidates, I would immediately apply a match and say, only show me the candidates who really fit this role. And so with that in mind, the reason I'm so excited to have Jonathan on the line, so excited to have so many great folks for the session, is that this is our chance to fight back as job seekers, to level the playing field with our very own AI. And that's why I'm thrilled that Jonathan is not just bringing his expertise from his days at Google or at Snap, or even building an amazing career coaching business called Wonsulting, but specifically his newest venture, WonsultingAI. So welcome, Jonathan.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeremy. Really appreciate it. And again, I know you're saying so much good things about my work, but your work is even more amazing. So again, thank you so much for helping so many job seekers here. And it looks like we have 100+ people. So this is awesome to see again. Thanks for having me. Where's everybody based out of, by the way? Can everybody comment, like, where is everybody tuning in from?
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah. Jeremy, where are you at right now?
So I'm right here still in Google Town, your old stomping grounds, Jonathan. How about yourself?
Right. I'm in Vancouver right now. Oh my God. I just saw someone say Vancouver. All right. All right.
I know we've got Vancouver and Seattle,
Georgia,
over in Houston.
Wow, Dubai.
We got folks in Dubai.
God,
pretty incredible.
Okay. Okay. And what's everybody's energy level right now? 1 to 10. 10 meaning like, oh my gosh, Jonathan, Jeremy, keep going. And 1 meaning like,
I like the sign that Peter said 100. Peter's off the charts.
100. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. I see a 4, a 7, an 8, a 6. Someone said Red Bull gives you wings.
I like that.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Cool. Jeremy, should I just dive into it if that works?
Yeah, let's just set it up actually. So I want to let people know, as you can see already, this is not going to be a standard webinar. You know, the kind of thing where you tune in at 1 a.m. in Dubai, like Vaibhav, and you're like, oh, I can't believe I stayed up all night just to watch a boring PowerPoint presentation. Instead, there are going to be 3 big differences. We're going to have pop quizzes. So that Red Bull will come in handy, Troy. Number 2, we're going to be giving out some sweet incentives. So I'm going to be giving away a free copy of my new Career Coach GPT book to anyone who volunteers for a live role play. And then third and finally, even if you're not in the role play, keep engaging in the chat. Ask questions, throw out ideas, even play devil's advocate. We want to hear everything from you. So blow that chat up. And that being said, let's tee up the first thing that Jonathan is going to share with us. We're going to talk about really testing out your career hypothesis with AI, with Chat GPT. And why do you think it's so important to start your search with focus? Is it A, because it increases the speed at which you find a new job? B, because it increases your hit rate, you get more jobs? Or C, because it leads to higher satisfaction down the road? And I can see that a lot of folks have already guessed the answer, which is that all of these things are true. Whether you look at the data from the government or from the largest HR organization in the world, having a clear focus not only gets you into the job, but makes you happier in that job. And so that is why the first hack for today is validating your job search with ChatGPT. So Jonathan, tell us how you do that. How do you apply these new techniques to really make sure you have that focus?
Of course. Well, everybody here, who's utilized ChatGPT for the job search? Has a lot of people?
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
Yes. And how many, and when you're using ChatGPT, everybody, at a scale of 1 to 10, how efficient are you? Are you at a 10 meaning, okay, like I'm pretty good at it? Or 1 meaning like, I need some improvement? What are y'all at? 7, 8.75, 4, 5.
I like the precision there, 8.75.
9, 8. Okay, cool. Oh my God. Well, it seems like everybody's all over the place. So let's break it down and let me actually dive in. Jeremy, is it okay if I actually share my screen?
Yeah, please do. Go for it, Jonathan.
Cool. I got you. Let me go. I have two screens open. So let's go to here. Let me share my screen real quick. All right. Cool. Can everybody see my screen?
Looks great.
Fine. Perfect. Okay, great. I'm moving this over here. So I have a full screen. I got a monitor right here. So if y'all see me looking this way, you can just ignore that. But actually, I'll give a quick intro of myself, Jeremy, if that works. So,
Please do. Yeah.
Quick intro of myself. So I'm Jonathan, CEO, co-founder of WonSulting. But quick background, as Jeremy mentioned, used to work at the big companies like the Snap, Google, and Cisco. So I first started my career at Snapchat, where I worked in product operations. Who here is Snapchat? Everyone's like, Snapchat? What? What is Snapchat, right? Non-existent. It's okay. No one likes Snapchat anymore. So it's okay. I don't work there. So you can say anything bad about it. No, I'm kidding. And then I was at Snapchat for about 8 months and then went to Google for about 1.5 years. And then that's when I started WonSulting, which was a side hustle, which is basically helping people land jobs coming from non-traditional backgrounds. So think the individuals who come from the non-traditional backgrounds of maybe you were the first generation from your background. Maybe you didn't have necessarily connections to break into your respective company. Maybe you're trying to break into your career and you're from a different generation. So helping those folks land offers. And then lastly, worked at Cisco for about 1 year before doing WonSulting full time. All right. So a lot of the techniques today that I'm going to teach you, or we're going to teach you, is a lot about how you can utilize, of course, Chat GPT, but also how do you make that perfect resume? How do you make that profile that actually stands out so you can get interviews and potentially offers? Does that sound good?
Love it. Let's do it.
Yeah. If everyone's excited, put heck yes in the chat. Let's see it. You want to see the heck yes? Oh yeah, there you go. Everyone's like, heck yes. Cool. Okay. I'm going to skip through the slides because, Jeremy, I know you want me to go through some of the Chat GPT things first. Is that right?
Yeah, whatever order is more natural. Totally take it away.
Cool. Okay, awesome. So actually, I'll ask you all this. Do you want me to go through some resume things first? Do you want me to go through Chat GPT? Let me ask everybody in the audience. What do y'all think?
Let us know. Resume, Chat GPT.
And I have a whole presentation about all of this stuff. Okay, I see a mix. I see 50-50. Okay, perhaps this. I'll go through resumes real quick because I think you need the foundation of how do you create that resume first, because I can tell you exactly how to do it through ChatGPT. The only thing is we need to set the foundation of how do you make that great resume and what is the definition of a great resume. Because once you have that, then you can utilize ChatGPT to then create your resume. How does that sound, everybody?
Love
Good?
it. Yeah, let's dive in.
Cool. Let's dive in. Okay, cool. So I got 3 things today. I'm going to tell you how to make that perfect resume, right? And then secondly, how to use AI job search tools. And then we can do Q&A as Jeremy has mentioned. And Jeremy, feel free to just cut me off whenever you want.
No, this is awesome.
Let me know if you have anything to add in. I know you have so much amazing insight. So again, thank you for having me. Cool. So making the perfect resume. So my question, y'all, is this: what does this quote mean? Real quick. It's only about 7 words, but what does this quote mean? Can anybody tell me in the comments? What does this quote mean? Design is the silent ambassador of your brand. Does anybody know? If not, it's totally fine. You can take a guess, any guess, and a guess is there's no wrong answer. Form or function? Yeah, nice, Jeremy. Anybody else? First impression. I love that. Eileen. Right? Yeah. Oh, Crystal. Yep. I'm gonna teach you. We're gonna teach you exactly that. So, yep, balance leads to effectiveness, right? So the design of your resume is extremely important, right? Whether it's how it looks, whether it's the bullets that you're going to create, which we're going to tell you how to through ChatGPT. Your resume is, as Margarita said, your resume is a reflection of you as a professional, right? So if I were to look at these 2 resumes, everybody, real quick, the one at the left and the one at the right, which one would you all prefer reading? The one at the left or the right? What do you think? Right. Why? Why at the right? Anybody tell me why? And y'all said that so quick, and I don't even think right? You see how quick that instinct is, everybody? So when you're looking at resumes, think of it as you are a recruiter or a hiring manager, or you're hiring someone. Do you want to look at something that's at the left, or do you want to look at something at the right? Probably the one at the right, all right? So some words, as you can tell, people are saying it's organized, it's clean, it's something that I actually want to read, it has metrics, it has numbers, etc. The one at the left doesn't necessarily have that. So you have this first impression of who this person is just from looking at their resume for a few seconds, which is pretty crazy, right? And the reason why I want to explain this is because we want your resumes to actually get looked at and be read through so you can get that great first impression rather than someone saying, oh, this is just like, I don't even want to, I have 100 resumes to look at, I'm not even going to take a look. Okay. And so I remember being like this, right? Many of you, like, who here is editing the resume from scratch? Is it anybody editing the resume from scratch or is in their job search? A lot of you, right? So I still remember being like a lot of you sitting on my couch, editing my resume, thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to be excited, I'm be happy and excited to edit my resume like Kim Kardashian here. But in fact, a few days later, after editing the resume and submitting it to applications, I felt like this. Who here has felt like Kim Kardashian here? If you have, put a sad chat. Everyone's like, LOL, right? Put a sad face to this. A+ for a slideshow. Okay, let's turn those frowns upside down, everybody, real quick. So my question to y'all is this: how long does it take for recruiters and hiring managers to actually read a resume? What do y'all think? 5 seconds? Helen, great guess. Betsy, have you been to one of these workshops before? Because you got it right on the nail. It's exactly what y'all said. 6 seconds. All right, like Michael Scott here. I love The Office. I don't want to dig into that, but I love The Office. So 6 seconds, everybody. So I believe that recruiters, and there's a lot of data that backs this up in a lot of articles, that recruiters and hiring managers take around 6 to 7 seconds to read a resume before making a decision whether or not to keep on reading. I don't think it's, okay, I read it and then okay, approved. It's, they take 6 seconds and they say, okay, now I'm going to keep on reading it to see if this is an actual qualified candidate that I want. Same thing for LinkedIn profile, Dr. Scott, exactly, right? It's funny to say Dr. Scott because I was thinking of Michael Scott. I was like, Dr. Scott. Anyways, so this is important because we need to set the foundation for you all as you're going to be creating your resume. And so this goes back to the first impression, everybody, right? So let's do a quick 6-second test, okay? I'm going to give you all 6 seconds to take a look at this resume and tell me some words to describe it after, okay? Ready? 6 seconds. Oh, excellent. That thing accidentally popped up. But let's take a look at the resume. Sorry, my transition got messed up. But take a look at the resume and for 6 seconds and let me know what you think. 6 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What are some words to describe that resume? It's too long, right? It's too wordy, right? It's too much. Would you read it? Yes or no? Probably not, right? Excuse my text right here, but it's 3 pages of just blanket text, and you're probably not going to keep on reading it. Okay. Now let's go to the next one, right? 6-second test again. Let's do this one in 6 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What do y'all think about this resume? What are some words that describe it? Yikes, right? Everyone's like messy. Formatting is hard to read. Cluttered. It's busy. It's busy, right? So you know why this resume got messed up, everybody? It's because, and Jeremy, you know all about this, if you save your resume in Word and you send it out to someone, your formatting gets messed up. So you want to make sure your resume is always in PDF when you're submitting applications. Exactly, Mitra. There you go. Okay. And then lastly, let's take a look at this resume right here. These two. What do y'all think about this resume? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Probably not my resume. Look at the one on the left. But what do y'all think about these resumes? It's a lot. It's much better. It's cleaner. Yeah. ATS can parse it. Yep, exactly. Right. So you have all these words that describe your resume, everybody. Right. But it only took you 6 seconds to make that decision whether or not to keep on reading or to keep on going and saying, okay, like this is an actual resume I want to keep looking at. Right. So when you all are creating your resumes, we want you to think in that way. We want for you to say, if I had my resume given to a friend or a hiring manager or a recruiter, would they say, oh, Crystal, she's organized, she has well thought, she has a lot of impact and achievements? Or they say, Megan, I don't know, like I have another resume to look at, right? So that is why it's very important, everybody, that I set the foundation first for you all before diving into utilizing AI tools. Okay. Any questions there? Any questions? Jeremy, anything to add
And
there?
yeah, I'll just let folks know, if you've got questions you want to ask, you can either put them right in the chat, or if it's easier to ask live, just raise your hand and we'll unmute you. So if you want to go one-on-one with Jonathan, this is your opportunity. Any question is perfect, no matter how big, no matter how small.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Cool. So then we have.
And actually, we did have one question there.
Yes.
Judy wanted to know, what about the recommended order of sections? You know, there's always that debate, education, experience, should you have an objective?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, such a great question. So my go-to is always to have work experience first. So it's usually work experience, and then you have your education and skills. For some people, they include the summary at the top. I think you can have a summary if you are, number one, you're trying to make a career pivot, or you don't have necessarily experience to the field that you're trying to get into, because people are probably going to question and say, hey, like, did this person even work? Like, why is this person interested in the role, right? However, Crystal, exactly. If you are a recent graduate, so less than 1 year's experience, you can include your education at the top, so people know that you are a recent grad going for entry-level roles or for internships if you're a student. So that's usually the structure that I use. Like I said before, many people have different preferences, so there's no like clear-cut way, but in my opinion, I usually use that format. Jeremy, anything to add there?
Yeah, I love that. And I do think that in general, you know, there's so many eye tracking studies that we used to do at LinkedIn. People only tend to read the top part of your resume before they even decide if they want to look beyond it. So if you've got really great stuff that you did in some random job at the very bottom of your resume, find a way to get that to the top, because that may be the only information the recruiter actually sees. So lead with your best stuff.
Exactly, 100%. And that also goes for your bullets too. Your first bullet on your resume, on your experience, has to be the most important, because it's the first thing people are going to look at. And Oliver, I'll go to your question basically. I've always been told one page, but is it okay to have multiple pages? So what I like to say is, and again, this is my personal preference, is usually you can have, like, I like to have ideally one page if you have less than 10 years experience, but you can always have more than one page if you have a lot of relevant experience. Now I'm saying relevant experience because, for example, let's say that you're going for like a product manager role, and let's just say that you have a full page of product management experience, but then you have experience as a waiter, just making it up. Like, you don't have to put the experience as a waiter on your resume. Not everything has to be on your resume that you've done from previous experiences. And a lot of those things can be condensed into one page, but 1 to 2 pages is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so Jonathan, I have to ask this question because this was blowing up on social media yesterday.
Yes.
I believe it was in the Washington Post. There was this article about people putting in white text into their resume to beat the applicant tracking system, that thing that I was talking about. Now, I'd seen this maybe like 10 years ago, but all of a sudden it was everywhere again. Any thoughts about that? This is the idea of trying to insert extra keywords that the recruiter can't see.
Yeah, it doesn't work, everybody. Yeah, it's yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend it, because at the end of the day, you could pass the first part, right? Maybe it'll pick up the words that you have on the resume, but a recruiter or a hiring manager, for me, for example, I'll take a look at the resumes and I'll actually read if you have those skills and experiences. So if you do that, you could pass the first initial round, but what'll happen is you'll probably get rejected at the end of the day. You want to be that one who goes from stage 1 all the way to stage 4, not the one who gets stuck at stage 1.
I love that. You know, in the interest of time, I think let's get back to the session. And then
Let's do it.
These questions are amazing. Please keep them coming in. Jonathan, you are fantastic at handling them on the spot. So let's keep rolling.
You got it. You got it. Cool. So to keep on going, everybody, real quick, I'm going to show you, and you all will get actually free access to the tool. You can utilize it. You will get 10 tokens when you sign up. And I'll have this incentive. If you send me an email to my jonathan@wonsulting.com and just say that you're from Jeremy's community and our communities, like, just email me and I will give you more tokens. I'll give you 10 additional tokens. So just FYI.
Nice.
So there's incentive to send me an email, or I'll tell Jeremy like what link it is. But basically, everybody, if you go to here, and I can put this in here real quick. If you go to this website, let me send it into the chat real quick. Yep, there you go. That's my email. Yes, yes. So basically what we created for Wonsulting is a tool that'll actually help you create your resume bullets. And so has anybody been on Chat GPT and been like, okay, like what is anybody a prompt engineer here? Actually, it's not a question. Is anybody a prompt engineer here? Everyone's like, no, that's not me, right?
I wish we were,
Right?
because wasn't that article about prompt engineers making $300,000 a year? So
Yeah, like, okay, everybody, let's break into that career, right?
that's right.
So, but basically what this tool does is if you just go here to Resume AI, for example, what you can do is you can actually create your resume from scratch, and it will also have that template basically right here. I'll give you this example. You can actually build your resume from scratch, right?
Wow.
So can anybody here give me a position that they're in? Does anybody have volunteers? Hand raised. We'll do
Yeah, yeah. You want to go one-on-one with some Jonathan?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be cool, Jim.
let's give away a copy of this book. It would be awesome to have someone raise their hand right now. And
Let's
if you're
do it.
feeling good, let's do it.
Let's do it. Jeremy, I'll help you pick.
Yeah, I think we got Manish first. Manish, you'd be amazing at Jeopardy. You are like lightning.
Manish, you're on it. Go ahead.
Manish, feel free to unmute. Meet Jonathan.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Manish, what's up?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing great. Tell us more. What is the role? What is your role in your previous experience? And then tell us what your work experience is in one sentence.
Ooh.
Okay, so I have worked with Amazon previously, and
Nice.
my role was into financial benchmarking, where I was doing financial benchmarking for Amazon for its direct and indirect peers.
And you said you did financial benchmarking.
Yes.
For what again?
For Amazon's direct and indirect peers.
But Amazon's data, is that correct?
Amazon's direct and indirect peers. I mean, like direct.
Oh,
They're competitors. Yeah.
oh, competitors.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and you're a financial analyst, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So everybody check this out. So if you put your position and you put your work experience in one sentence, let's just say benchmarking. Oops, I put marketing. Marketing. Right, cool. So all you have to do is you click generate. What'll happen is it'll actually give you bullets that you can add directly to your resume, right? So for example, Manish, did you do financial benchmarking analysis for Amazon's top competitors?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you identified like improvement in cost savings, is that right?
Not exactly that. As in, like I was specifically searching on strategic initiatives which its competitors have taken, whether they can implement it into Amazon or not.
Areas for strategic initiatives instead, right? But you see how it's creating your bullets for you? So for example, but you did this when you said develop and implement strategic initiatives. Perfect. You can just add it directly to the resume. And then let's just say you do this one as well, right? So as easy as that, everybody, you could literally just add your bullets onto here. And then if they're not the exact numbers, you can always edit it. So for example, let's just say days, you can just say, oh, I did 5 days, right? And if you don't like this, then you just click generate again, right?
Wow.
It will give you more bullets.
And Jonathan, I love how the bullets already come pre-formatted with like lots of great keywords, things like benchmarking analysis and cost reduction, but also clear outcomes to help sort of jog people's creativity there. That's so smart.
Exactly. And the thing is, you don't have to think about, okay, well, what do I put on Chat GPT to make it
right?
So everybody, that is how you can build your resume through our tool for Resume AI by Wonsulting. So if any of you want access, please let me know. I won't go too deep into this because I want to focus directly on Chat GPT, which Jeremy and I will talk about. But any questions there?
Yeah.
Pretty
So
cool,
if you've got questions about WonsultingAI or how you might use this or how it works, feel free to ask right in the chat, or again, even just raise your hand if you want to ask live. And it sounds like folks are impressed, Jonathan.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody. And one last thing, Jeremy, real quick before going to Chat GPT, is we have something called Network AI, which does something very similar, except let's just say, does anybody here let's do this real quick. Anybody have a position and company they're interested in working in? Anybody?
And you can just put it in the chat if that's easier.
Cool. I'll just put, let's see, product. I'll see product Tesla, right? Oh, and I'll just put product. Let's see. So what'll happen, everybody, is you can put your target job function, target company, and it will create you not only a message to send them, but the crazier part is this, everybody. It'll help you identify the exact hiring managers and recruiters for the roles you're interested in. So then now I know for a fact that now I found the hiring manager, and how I can confirm it is like this on LinkedIn.
That's awesome.
So if anybody needs help with finding out how to network, this is something that I used to do all the time, how I actually got a lot of my roles. You can literally do that. Yeah. Everyone's like, what? Crazy, right? So if anybody's interested, you can find all of them just like this. Pretty cool. Okay.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions coming in. I think
Please, yes.
These are not even specific to Wonsulting, but more to the space in general. Crystal
Yes,
says, those bullets were awesome, but so many of my students, and Crystal might be speaking to the career coaching side of things, they won't do the extra step of editing, revising. They'll copy, save, and send. Then they'll get in trouble during an interview. How can we help students sort of get away from that use case?
Love that. I love that question. So this comes into the education piece, because a lot of people, and I'll dig a little bit deep into this, is that, or later into this, but AI will only get you from 0 to 80%. The last 20% needs to be edited by you or someone who can advise you. Because at the end of the day, the numbers that you have from ChatGPT might be hallucinated, as an example, and they might be correctly incorrect, right? So one thing that needs to be added, especially for these AI tools, is something with friction, meaning it reminds people that you have to do the editing before you add it to the resume. For us, we're incorporating that capability in a few weeks. And then secondly, we have to ensure that our students and us as users, we don't rely directly on AI tools to solve 100%. It has to be to that 80%. That's what I keep in mind for everything that I do. Even when I create my own content, it helps me ideate, but it doesn't create the whole content for me.
Love that. So the sort of the best possible outcome is a combination of the technology and human creativity. But great question, Crystal, and awesome answer, Jonathan. And then there was one other question, and that was from Kian. Kian wants to know, are these tools useful for people without tech experience?
Yes, 100%. Both ChatGPT and WonsultingAI, because for WonsultingAI is specific for careers, because you don't have to necessarily think about, okay, like I don't have the technical experience to put a specific prompt in to create my resume, right? So that's what's good for in that case. So you don't have to think too much about it. And that's why a lot of AI tools are very niche down to what they solve for, what problem they solve for. So yes, it is beneficial for those who don't have tech experience. It can be for anybody, like for WonsultingAI, anybody can use this, by the way, not just tech experienced people.
Very cool. Well, folks love it. Let's move on to Chat GPT. Let's talk about the granddaddy of all these things.
Let's do it. And by the way, everybody, quick thing real quick. If you don't know the numbers, estimate them, right? Don't put something like you increase revenues by 1,000%. You probably didn't do that. So make sure you can always estimate them or ask your peers. Remember to condense and consolidate your information. And lastly, remember, everybody, your resume is only one part of the job search. Okay? Cool. All right, let's get into ChatGPT. Okay, cool. So this is the best part. Is everybody excited? We're at the halfway mark. Everybody excited? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, let's get into it. And Jeremy, whenever you want to, I know you want to do a raffle for your book. Let us know, or let me know.
Yeah. Let's do another role play once we get into ChatGPT. So keep on rolling.
Perfect. Let's do it. Okay, cool. So my question is this: when you first think of AI, what do you think of? Before going to, what do you all think of? Smart. What do you think of? Content, right? Okay. ChatGPT. No, you think of robots. You think of robots. What are y'all talking about? You think of robots like in Futurama. No, I'm kidding. Of course, with ChatGPT, right? So when you think of with AI, especially in these days, right? We think about ChatGPT and how it's grown so much since it was first released to the public in later stages of last year, right? So as I said before, there's any prompt engineers, there's nobody who's a prompt engineer here, right? I'm like her. I'm not a prompt engineer. I don't know exactly what to put, right, into my prompts. So how do you exactly chat GPT is the question, right? So I like to structure like this. And Jeremy, I know you have Jeremy has a lot of extensive knowledge on this topic. So Jeremy, feel free to butt in here. But what I like to talk about with Chat GPT is a lot of people will just give a very general statement of saying, write me a resume for a marketing role. But Chat GPT doesn't know who you are. So what I like to say is, number one, you give a background of yourself or background of what the objective is. Then you give an objective of, okay, this is what I want answered. Then you can give things at the end to avoid in that objective. And then lastly, like I said before, you correct it because it will get you from 0 to 80%, but not 0 to 100%. Okay. Jeremy, anything to add there?
No, I love that. I do think I've told people before in Silicon Valley so often, and you know this, Jonathan, we always talk about our models as garbage in equals garbage out. If you put in bad data, you can't expect diamonds at the end. And I think the same is true with ChatGPT. You got to give it a little bit to get a lot.
100%, 100%. So let's give you all an example for job search, right? Cover letters. Does anybody like cover letters? Who here likes cover letters?
That's what people say.
Everyone's
Oh,
like,
Claire's
no.
a fan. Not Jennifer.
Oh, Claire, you're a fan. Oh, everyone's like, no. Okay, that's it. Absolutely. Cover letters, everybody. It's so crazy, everybody. Just quick vent real quick, but it's crazy that the job search requires you to submit a resume, submits a cover letter. Then you have to go in an application and fill out all the application details, which was already on the resume that you uploaded.
Right.
Right. Right. So why I'm saying cover letters is because we're going to use ChatGPT to actually help you create your cover letter. Okay. And so let's go back to what we were talking about, how to ChatGPT. All right. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, but this is the prompt. This is the prompt we are going to use. Okay. So the first one is, like we said before, we're going to talk about the background. You are a job seeker, right? Or you can say, I am a job seeker, whatever it is. Yeah, Dr. Scott, exactly, right? You are a job seeker looking to land a job as and you put position. Let's just say marketing analyst at Google, whatever it is. This is my resume below. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your resume, you're going to take the work experiences, and you're going to paste it under ChatGPT. So let me just show you actually real quick. Let me log in. It's probably better than just telling you all, but here, let me log in real quick. Actually, cool thing, I use Mac GPT. I know everyone's like, what the heck is Mac GPT? Mac GPT is Mac version of ChatGPT, except that it's an extension, so I don't have to keep logging in. So just FYI, cool. So let's go over here real quick. So let's take that prompt, right? So you want to give a background of yourself first. So let's dismiss this. So you're a job seeker, you're looking to land a job as let's just say marketing analyst, right? Does anybody have a company they're interested in?
I saw some people in the last round who are saying Microsoft, Google, Blizzard, BuzzFeed.
Microsoft, let's do it. Microsoft just had earnings today.
That's right. Oh yeah, someone said investor relations at Microsoft. Perfect timing.
Love it. So we're going to say marketing analyst at Microsoft, and then we're going to attach the resume below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a resume from Resume AI, and I'll just give you an example. And let's just say I take this one. I'm going to pull it up real quick. I'm just going to put all of the information into there real quick. Give me 1 second. Cool. So I'm just going to put all the information into here, right? So that's all the information from the resume. I'm just giving this as an example, by the way, okay? Then what's going to happen, everybody, is we're going to talk about, okay, I want you to create a cover letter based on my resume, right here. Then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to take the same part that I had before. I'm going to say, I want you to create a cover letter based on my resume for a blank position. So why you want to do this is because you're telling ChatGPT the objective, right? Your objective of what you want it to do. right? So you say your objective here. I want to create a cover letter based on my resume for and let's just say the position you're trying to go for is investor relations. I'm just taking the one. So I said at Microsoft, investor relations at Microsoft. Cool. Your job security land. Oh, cool. Okay. So right here, we're going to say here, you're a job seeker with marketing analyst experience. Let's just say experience. My apologies. I said that twice. Cool. Okay. So you have that, right? And then at the end, you want to say words you want to avoid, right? So avoid using any bad words and hard to understand words. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Dr. Scott. Cool. Okay. By the way, I will send this in the group chat, or I'll send this in the Zoom. But then after having this, then you click send message, right? So what'll happen is it will then create you a cover letter based on your experiences here from your resume, and we'll talk more about why you're interested in working at Microsoft in investor relations. You see the difference? Because if I just said, I want to work at Microsoft, create me a cover letter to work as investor relations at Microsoft, they're not going to know a background of yourself.
Yep.
Right. Jeremy, anything to add there?
Yeah, no, I think this is great. And I think one thing we should really encourage people to do is just paste in context from wherever. Your resume, your LinkedIn profile, the job description. You don't have to make it pretty. You don't have to reformat it. The beautiful thing about Chat GPT is we'll just process it and we'll apply it. So whatever you can get your hands on, share that context.
Exactly. And taking that information, as Jeremy said, putting it into here, and it's okay if the formatting is all over the place. Chat GPT will take that information and then we'll be able to create it to your cover letter as an example. Okay. Another thing is, everybody, let's just say this is too long, right? You're like, Jonathan, this is way too long. I don't want any of this. Okay. So you can do one of two things, which I'll show you. Number one, you can then say, rewrite the cover letter, but only make it 3 paragraphs max, right? It's basically this collaboration. It's like you're speaking to someone, but you're not, but you're commanding it of what to do. So instead, you can make that cover letter. Okay, let's make it only 3 paragraphs instead. See? So now it's incorporating these 3 paragraphs right here in the middle, instead of having it as like 8, right? Very much as a dialogue.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that, Scott. That's really good.
Cool.
We've got a bunch of questions pouring in, Jonathan, if you're game to take a couple.
Yep. Yes, please. Let's answer.
Yeah, this is awesome. So Kelly asked this question and Judy seconded it, which is, how can companies tell if you've used Chat GPT? So is that something that you worry about for your job seekers? How do you sort of address that?
Yes. So one of the things that I can actually tell when people use Chat GPT. I can, but and Jeremy, maybe you can too, because we've been so accustomed to seeing
start to see it in our dreams and our nightmares.
Yeah. A lot of buzzwords when people are like, I created a disruptive, innovative tool. It's very Chat GPT because it's very buzzwordy, right? So that's why we always like to stress, like, Chat GPT will get you from 0 to 80%, not 80% to 100, 0 to 100%. I can actually show you if anyone is anybody down to see exactly how people use Chat GPT?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Check this out real quick. I'm gonna go on LinkedIn real quick. It's actually gonna be on LinkedIn. Check this out. So on LinkedIn, and yeah, feel free to everybody add me on LinkedIn. We'll add you back. Just send me a connection request and just add a note. So I'm just gonna take one of these. I'll just take this post, right? Cool. This is just a meme, whatever it is. So what happens is you have a bunch of people who are commenting all these different things, blah, blah, blah. How you can tell if people actually use ChatGPT, and let me see if I can find it real quick, is a couple things. Number one, so I know this because I've tried to utilize ChatGPT before with LinkedIn comments, and the first word that people use is absolutely. So whenever someone says absolutely with an exclamation point, I'm trying to find one here. Whenever somebody says that, it will basically know, I know that they use ChatGPT. Another thing that how I know that people use ChatGPT is with emojis. I'm trying to find it, but with emojis, what happens, everybody, is that, okay, not this one. I can't find it in this one. I was trying to find a random one, sorry. But what happens is when people use like this person, like there's a period at the end and then there's an emoji. All the time when you, because naturally you don't do that, right? So if there's a period at the end with an emoji, I know for a fact they use Chat GPT. That is usually the case for people utilizing it. And if you can tell when you repeatedly see it for me on my LinkedIn content, that's one way that I can usually see that people use it. And then another thing, if you go to their LinkedIn profile, you can actually see, oh, Kristen, thank you. You can actually see people will have the same comment on people's posts, and you know for a fact they utilize ChatGPT there.
Oh,
yeah, I'll stop there.
Well, that's great. We got another good question too from Anthony. Anthony says, okay,
Yes.
This all feels pretty good, but having to paste in my bullets for my resume every time, it feels like a pain in the butt. Could I just attach a full resume and sort of skip over that step?
Yeah, so on Chat GPT, right?
That's right. That's right.
And so the pain point is basically taking the bullets from Chat GPT and put it on your resume. Right?
Sort of the other way around. So like copying from your resume to give the context to Chat GPT.
And putting it, yeah. So what I would say is if you're doing that, what I would do is I would just copy your experiences. So this is what everybody actually should do, since nobody has solved for this yet. I mean, some people have like applying mechanisms where they'll autofill your application, but you should have a doc that doesn't have bullets on it, but just has all of your experiences and all your positions. So then you can always just copy and paste it onto ChatGPT to make it a lot easier. Because yeah, if you copy and paste it from your resume, it's probably going to be formatted all over the place. But again, as Jeremy said before, if the formatting is all over the place, it'll still be able to read and recognize your experiences. It's not going to be like give you something totally different. So just FYI. One
other thing I'll call out that I just discovered the other day is there are all these competitors in this space now. So obviously there's Google and Microsoft and everyone. There's this new startup called Anthropic. It's gotten a lot of attention. They just released a new tool called Claude 2, where you can actually add attachments and it could read through a PDF or things like that. So if anyone wants to play with that, that's also free. And the link is in the chat.
That's right. Claude AI, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Okay. I remember that, Jeremy. One of my co-founders actually told me about that. So nice.
But now we have the big debate in the chat, Jonathan, about whether we're all actually AIs, all of us who use punctuation and emojis.
We are. And we are. Just kidding. No. But everybody, yeah, for ChatGPT especially, I know I showed you a little bit about job search, but another thing, like, for example, I will use ChatGPT for ways of how I can figure out, okay, like, even for example, check this out. Like, I even asked, like, what are some places to go in Vancouver Island, right? I could have been more specific, but like, for example, I want to take it's my first year anniversary next in 2 weeks. So I just asked ChatGPT. Congratulations. So, so you don't have to use it solely for job search. You can always use it for other things, of course.
Here's the juicy question from Scott. There's this whole divide between ChatGPT 3.5 and then ChatGPT 4, which you usually have to pay for with, ChatGPT Plus or use it through Bing Chat. Do you think 4 is that much better in your testing?
So 4 gives a lot more relevant information, but it's very slow. So
I feel the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Works better in academia. Yep, exactly, Dr. Scott. It's very slow. So like if I want an answer ASAP, I just do 3.5 usually. So I'll just do it as fast as I can, just using that. But if I want something that's a very like, okay, I want some more data to back it. So if I'm talking about it on social media or something, I will use GPT-4. In this case, I use GPT 3.5 because I know that some of you don't have Plus. So I wanted to be cautious of that.
That's awesome. I think Scott and Mark David are saying they've had better experiences with 4 in terms of like precision, especially in academia, building an app. But I think if you're just looking directionally, if you just need to get sort of unstuck, 3.5 does have that sort of like fast, quick to bang to explosion thing where you can immediately figure out, okay, now I've got something to work with. Okay, here's a question from Vibov. Vibov says, for every new job we want to apply, should we modify the resume accordingly? Or do we just say have maybe like 4 or 5 versions of our resume and then just use those interchangeably? Because it does seem like now the temptation with ChatGPT is that you're going to customize every single resume. Does that still make sense?
Yeah, so you could, but imagine how much time you're spending doing that. It's so much time. Even though ChatGPT is doing it, you're still going to spend a lot of time having to copy the bullets from ChatGPT, put it on your resume, and then you got to edit it again, right? So what I recommend to people is have one resume per job title. Title meaning, for example, if you're going for a sales account executive role, you should have one specifically for account executives. But if you're going for one that's like a UX designer, you should have one that's specifically for UX design. Of course, you can edit it with ChatGPT if you have time, but a lot of people nowadays just don't have time. Like the hardest thing about the job search, everybody, is time, right?
Yes.
Can everybody agree with that? Time and getting rejected. That's
right. Managing your emotions, managing your energy, even in the face of rejection.
Exactly, Jeremy. Yeah, exactly. So job search is a full-time job, Betsy. Hit it on the nail. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Here's another huge question. This is like the elephant in the room. People are now familiar with the idea that Chat GPT and so many of these models were trained on data from 2021 and earlier. Is there some kind of way we can use AI, Betsy wants to know, to access current job listings? So we're not just talking about antiquated data.
So an access like to apply to?
Like, so for example, if you went to Chat GPT and you said, tell me what jobs are available in Mountain View today, it would say, I'm sorry, I'm a language model with data from 2021. Is there any way around that?
So for ChatGPT, you can't necessarily do that because the information, as you said, Jeremy, it's outdated from 2021. I'm not 100% sure with Google Bard. However, what y'all can do is, I'll give you a little trick here, actually. Give me 1 second. You can actually do this through Google search. And I'll show you all how to do this real quick. I'm just going to load it up. I talked a little bit about this on social media, but here, let me share it with y'all real quick. Check this out. So everybody, if you just go to Google and you type this in, so you put the site, right? Let's just say LinkedIn, let's just say whatever greenhouse, whatever it is, I'm just going to put LinkedIn. So if you specifically search this site, linkedin.com, hiring for roles, and put whatever position you're hiring for, and then apply today, what you can actually find are some of the hiring managers directly for the roles. So for example, let's just say this one, Ryan, this is just an example, and Google search is obviously free, right? So now you can find the person, this is a year ago, but I'm just giving you an example, but you can find people who not only have the roles that you can apply to, but also you can find the hiring managers for the roles. So that's a little quick tip that you all can do. If you're ever like, oh shoot, like how do I find people that, well, how do I find roles and hiring managers? You just put the site, you just put hiring, and then you could simply do that. Yeah.
One other thing I'll call out, and I tend to just use ChatGPT myself because it's so easy and convenient. But an advantage of both Bard, which is from Google, and then Bing Chat, which of course is from Microsoft, is they do actually combine live search with their historic data. And so I don't know that it would replace LinkedIn or Indeed in terms of having really accurate information. But if you just want to have the best of both worlds, they might give you a shot. So try it out, Betsy. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, let us know, honestly. And oh, Jeremy, one other thing, everybody, real quick, is you can do the same thing right here. So for example, if you have Greenhouse, like everybody knows Greenhouse ATS. So if you just search site greenhouse.io, you put the position and then you put how many years experience you have, you can find all the roles that, look at this, that have 3 years experience here that you can apply to.
Oh, I love that.
To make your job search way easier. So you're applying to roles you qualify.
I think that kind of demonstrates what you've been saying, Jonathan, which is like, yes, AI is great, but human ingenuity, like you figuring out that hack, is also still super powerful. And if we neglect one or the other, we're missing out. So I love that.
100%, 100%. Oh yeah, and I'll put this up here. So I'll put this in the chat real quick. You just put the site, in this case, it's Greenhouse. Then you put your position you're interested in, and then put how many years experience you have as an example. Cool. Okay. Any other questions or Jeremy?
They're still coming in, Jonathan. You have sparked a lot of interest here. Hayden wants to know, what are your thoughts on tools like Zero GPT to detect Chat GPT language? And for those who don't know, this is a tool that purportedly can say, oh, this was generated by AI.
Yeah, so for Zero GPT, if I'm being honest, I haven't really tested it or haven't really used it. I've heard different articles about it and how it's able to detect Chat GPT. However, I remember there are some articles also about the tool, how it said that some people utilize ChatGPT when they didn't. So it's not always going to be fairly accurate. And another thing is that should, yep, exactly, it doesn't work as well, Dr. Scott, exactly. One thing that should encourage everybody to do is to make sure that ChatGPT, when you use it, it does not get you, like I said before, from 0 to 100%. Meaning whatever you get on ChatGPT, you don't just copy and paste it to whatever you're doing. You instead copy it, you correct it, like I said in the slides, and you edit it, and then you can paste it. That is the process that you should all be following. A lot of people will always say, oh, like, okay, I'll just copy this and then paste it. As I said, hallucinations are really real. Yeah. So have to make sure.
Absolutely. Okay, these have been fantastic questions with even better answers. Let me just put out one last call. If you've ever wanted to go one-on-one with an absolute career guru and now career AI guru, this is your chance. If you've got any last questions you want to ask, you can put it in the chat, you can raise your hand. And Jonathan has been kind enough to share his time and expertise with us. So just one last call out for questions for Jonathan.
Yeah, again, thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate it a ton. And yeah, I'm so excited. Please, like, keep us updated of how your job search goes and all. Oh, someone has Dr. Scott. Yes, Dr. Scott. You've been asked a lot of questions.
Sorry about that. Here we go.
Please go ahead.
Give you the ability. There you go, Scott.
Thank you so much. Very well done, Jonathan, by the way. And Jeremy, thank you as well.
Of course.
Question, I had a 4.0 question, and any particular APIs that strike your fancy? There's lots of power. There's over 500 of them now, and they can do some amazing things. I'm just wondering if you caught up with any that really will help in the career space.
Oh, for APIs, yeah. So, I mean, ideally would love to have, so for the network AI, for example, that we have, ideally we'd love to have LinkedIn API, because then you could find hiring managers and recruiters directly. The thing is, though, LinkedIn does not give it out to everybody. You have to have like millions of dollars in revenues, right? Which is impossible, right? So that is the one.
You used to be able to get through LinkedIn in 3.5, and do give me a recommendation for somebody that, and then it reads their profile. But it won't do that.
Yeah, and now they're just strict, right? So try to avoid those. One thing we do use, I mean, this is a little bit technical for everybody here, but like, for us, we use some API specifically from the one that I showed you, like Greenhouse, to identify, for example, like, okay, like if you want to go apply to roles, you can utilize the API to go find those roles you want to apply to, and we'll help you apply to them. So we utilize some of that capability, but those are probably the ones that fancy me the most.
Thank you very much.
Of course, no problem. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott, for the great questions, great contributions. Thanks to everyone who asked questions throughout. And then massive thanks to Jonathan for just dropping so much knowledge on us. I really encourage you, play around with the tools that he shared, play around with some of these things if you want to build your own AI tools. And once again, if you want to try out anything from WonsultingAI, the link is here in the chat, and I will share that out in email afterwards as well. Any final words of wisdom, Jonathan, you want to share with our folks as we all head off into the summertime?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I thank you again, Jeremy, for, can we get a hashtag Jeremy in the chat, by the way? Thank Jeremy for setting this up. I really appreciate it. Again, Jeremy has been a good friend of mine. We've stayed in touch, Jeremy, for, oh my gosh, for 2-3 years. We've been staying in touch for a while, ever since Jeremy was doing some workshops at University of Michigan.
That's right.
I want to say, yeah, again, like I showed you all some different tips and tricks on how to use ChatGPT. Definitely check out Jeremy's stuff as well if you haven't already, because he has even more in-depth knowledge of it. I just try to give as much surface level things as possible, but yeah, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. Feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn. Let me know how the workshop went. And then, like I said before, if you send me an email or even send me a LinkedIn message with your email, if you send me that, I will give you more tokens. Just let me know. If you could do it by Thursday, so I can just give you all by Friday, that'd be awesome. So I'll set deadline by Thursday, send me a message saying your email, and I can give you more tokens.
And if you're feeling uninspired, have Chat GPT write the message and you'll be well on your way.
Or use network AI and then you can.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jonathan. This is awesome. I feel like even the fact that in the middle of the summer, when we could be out there doing all sorts of stuff, the fact that 100+ people wanted to invest in themselves, their careers, building the life that they love, That is just fantastic. So thank you for sharing all of your wisdom with us, Jonathan. Here's wishing you all a beautiful summer and an incredible next adventure. Cheers all.
Thank you so much, everybody. If anybody wants to chat, just send me an email, okay? Thanks, everybody.